Good evening from Southeast Asia, currently Philippines, soon to be, maybe, hope not, Vietnam. Oh, God, I don't want to go there. I hate Vietnam. I hate Vietnam. I don't hate it as much as I hate China, but I hate it pretty damn much. Okay, we're doing France tonight. Everybody does France. France does its own self. Not really a Frenchy fan either. No, strike that. Strike that. I love the French people. I just don't like them when they're rude. There are some ones that aren't rude, right? Yeah, I heard that. I read that in the book. Okay, we're doing France. And we're starting a long, long time ago, 1913. First of all tapes, all recording, copyright 2024 by stockphotosworldwide.com. Steal them in. We sick the dogs on you. We really do. We've done it before. We like it. We'll do it again. We know the procedure. Don't steal art stuff. Really, really, really. Location is now, okay, now you're going to rank me. I took a couple of years of French, but I wasn't really cut out for it. Location is Chevroux, Hamu, France. I'm not going to say any more place names in France because I just screw them up. I hate it. I like to listen to their language, but I don't like to try to speak it. It sucks. Date is 1913, time is night. A young man walking through a wooded area on his way to join an army unit heard noises and felt a presence behind him. Upon turning around, he saw a 3-meter tall, human-like figure approaching him, taking great strides, as it would, if it's 10 feet tall. Terrified, the young man ran away from the area and did not look back. See, that's a smart thing. When you're running from a monster, you don't look back because it's only going to slow you down a microsecond, and that might be the microsecond you need. Okay, now, there's no reports of flying saucer kinds of things here. We go through these reports. I've got 9,400 of not lights in the sky, but supposed interactions with supposed alien creepazoids. We've got 9,400 reports. We've done 1,400. We've got 8,000 left to go. And we're trying to figure out if any of them have credibility. A lot of them don't. A lot of them are just BS. Bullshit, as it were. But some of them have credibility. Some of them have great credibility. And this one, even though there's no flying saucers involved, I'm kind of thinking if it's 3 meters tall, it probably ain't from Iowa. Oh, I know those people are tall. No, they're not that tall. Okay, credibility or not, I can't say positively there's no credibility here about, aliens. I'm saying probably not. Well, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. The description sucks because it's 1913 and nobody described anything well in 1913. If it had, a space helmet, well, that would have helped. If it was carrying a ray gun, that would have helped. If it would have nuked a couple of rabbits as it ran, that would have helped a lot. If it glowed, anything to let you know it's otherworldly. I mean, 3 meters in and of itself is not necessarily otherworldly. It could be a circus guy on stilts, Okay, so it gives us some credibility. Yeah, I'm going to give it a teensiest little bit. The way we do the credibility thing, I'll try to be really, really quick because everybody already knows this. And some people say, shut the hell up. Well, I have to explain it every time because maybe this is your first one and you don't know what the hell we're doing. Of course, we don't either. Okay, we have a great big bucket. It's about 8 gallons. Picture of it on alienanalprobe.com. Picture of it there, cat shitting in it. That's our bucket. And if a report might have some credibility, we take a commensurate amount of sand, a little pinch or something like that, or 1 grain or a spoonful or something, and we drop it in that bucket. And maybe someday the bucket is full of sand, and then we say, okay, we believe in aliens. That's what we're doing. That's our whole thing here, trying to fill that bucket with credibility. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give it a teensy little bit of credibility. I can't give it a whole grain of sand. I'm giving it a quarter of 1 grain of sand. You know, yeah, it's really hard to do that because you got to get a razor blade and some tweezers, and it's difficult, but you know, it's got to be done. A quarter of a grain of sand credibility for this report. I thinking maybe it was an alien, but I'm not going to gamble a lot on it. Bye-bye. Okay, France. Where's France? Okay, here's location. Shit. How are you supposed to pronounce this crap? I mean, the French people, they don't even have normal human tongues, do they? You can't pronounce these words unless you got a Frenchy tongue. Frenchy, you know where that word came from? Frenchy, French kissing. Their tongues are like 8 inches long. God dang it, it's disgusting and at the same time very erotic. But, Saint Didier. No, that's not even close. It's not even close. I'm just going to say it's France. You can read it on the screen there. You can read. You pronounce it for your own self. Go Google it. 1914 times 0400 is 4 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Perret. Perret. Oh, shit. Mr. Perret. I'm sorry. Perret. Was at home sleeping. I don't like it. I don't like it when they're sleeping because they say they woke up, but they didn't really. They're just dreaming. Mr. Perret was at home sleeping when someone tapping on his back suddenly awakened him. How many dreams you had like that? 1 billion? He turns and sees a luminous being the size of a 10 to 12-year-old child. The being had a white glittering face and wore a very shiny outfit. I've seen that twice now when I came out of anesthesia in the hospital. Oh man, I should tell you about the last one. I woke up and all the girls in the OR, they were dressed in these gleaming, glowing white Honda Goldwing outfits, and they were hot. And they all had futuristic Honda Goldwings. They were parked all around my bed, and they didn't have no wheels. Oh God! I would do a different tape on that. He turns and sees a luminous being the size of a 10 to 12-year-old child. The being had a white glittering face and wore a very shiny outfit. Okay. Been there, seen that same one. He illuminated the room completely. Oh, it's a he. It's a he, alien being thing in the dream. The being then walked through the door and vanished. Yeah, that's real. That's real. An afterglow remained behind for about 3 seconds. And the frightened witness remained in bed probably under the cover. It doesn't say under the cover, but you know damn well he was. Okay, credibility here, peoples. What do you think? Aliens? You got choice A, you got choice B. You got what's more plausible, what's more likely. The guy had a dream, or aliens from outer space came and glowed around his room and then walked out through the door. What do you think is more likely? I'm not even going to qualify this with a discussion. Suck you. No, I mean, talking to people. Okay. Location is something, France. There, good to go. March 1914 times evening. A farmer, now deceased. Okay, so how do we, I guess he wrote this down, maybe he wrote a letter to his auntie, was returning to his farmhouse at, 1914, was returning to his farmhouse at twilight when he chanced to see atop a nearby hill a round, luminous object, green in color, hovering just above the ground. Well, okay. I kind of like it since it's 1914 because in 1914 people weren't running around with their brains full of alien shit. So, today people see a freaking helicopter. Oh my God, it's aliens. They've come to probe us all. Well, no, it's a helicopter. It's, like the feds or something. They've come to probe you all. Don't even. Okay. I think, in 1914, I think they had kind of a tendency to just say what they saw without making shit up. When he was about 100 to 200 meters away, he saw several beings of small stature emerge from the machine, stroll about briefly, then disappear once again inside. Now, this has no meaning to you probably whatsoever. It has pretty significant meaning to me because I've gone through the damn 9,400 cases, well, 3 times. It's the 4th time. I haven't gone through them for many, many years, and I do not remember this one, so most of them are effectively a cold read for me, like first time. But I'm a person who looks for patterns, and here's a pattern that I see again and again and again, never ending. And here's the pattern. Here's what the pattern is. A thing lands, and creepazoids get out. Sorry. Sorry. Had a spicy dinner. And you would expect them to do something, I don't know, logical, I suppose. Like, go catch some bugs or grab somebody's cat or shoot some humans with a ray gun or do some probing of the neighbor's dog or, something. Because you sort of expect, if they come from Zeta Reticuli, it's a long way. And when they get here, they're going to want to do something, right? They came here with a mission, right? No. Well, I mean, some did. But it's very, very common that people report, okay, this thing lands, some creepers get out, and they just walk around. They just walk around. And they go, oh, look at that. That's a tree. We read about that. There's a rock. Oh, look, there's a snake. But, with that, they don't do anything. They don't collect anything. They don't go anywhere. They don't communicate to anybody. They just walk around, look around. Okay. Remember the movie, was it one of the vacation movies with Chevy Chase? And God, he had his on moments and his off moments, didn't he? Anyway, when he was on, he was hot. They go to the Grand Canyon. Big deal. Took them, 3 weeks of driving to get there, Grand Canyon. And you're supposed to spend, like 3 days sitting on the edge of a cliff. And, oh my God, you meditate and you look at the sunsets and, shit like that for 3 days. That's what you're supposed to do when you get there. No, he walked up to the edge and he looked. Said, yep, nodded his head. Grand Canyon, cool. Okay, let's go. And that's what so many times aliens seem to be doing. Now, if it only happened once or twice or 10 times or 50 times, you wouldn't really think necessarily much of it, but it happens all the time. And nobody, least of all me, can seem to make any sense of it. Why would they come here and do that? I mean, sometimes they get startled by something and they run back in and they take off. Okay. But most of the time they don't. They land and they come out and look around. It's like Chevy Chase at the Grand Canyon. He's like, yep, that's Earth. It looks just like the pictures, Okay. Let's go to Mars. So when I see patterns like this that crop up from all around the world going back hundreds of years, I start thinking, probably not likely that everybody in the world is making up the same aspect of their sighting. Maybe, just maybe, they're telling the truth about what they saw. So let's go through this line again, just so we have it. When he was about 100 to 200 meters away, he saw several beings of small stature emerge from the machine, stroll about briefly, then disappear once again inside. The end. That's not the end of the report, but that's the end of his sighting of the creepers. That's it. That's all they did. They didn't probe him. Usually when they probe somebody and the people don't want to talk about it, they'll say, well, I was like examined, Oh, that's all. They just took my blood pressure. That's all. But he doesn't allude to anything happening at all. He just saw them and they strolled around and they got, okay. The object then took off in a spiral or zigzag, commonly reported trajectory, and then streaked off at very high speed. So incredibly common, and this is coming from 1914, people. He hasn't seen any sci-fi movies. Huh. He spoke to his family of the incident and asked that they never speak of it to anyone else. Smart man. It was only after his death that the incident was revealed. Okay, I get it. That's why they say he's now deceased. Okay. Okay. Now I've got a database of 9,400 of these reports. I'm guessing somewhere around 80%, I would say at least 80% of the people who have sightings and or interactions with something they think is an alien, 80 to 90% keep their pie holes shut. And they never tell anybody except the cat, maybe the dog, maybe the wife, maybe not. I told my wife, but, I trusted her. But how many people trust their wife? So if 80% are never being spoken about, then that's, there's a hell of a lot of people experiencing something that is not normal. Okay, is there any notes on this? Anybody make any comments? No, there's no comments. Okay, credibility or not, I can't say there is no credibility. That's the first test. Get up there. Get up there. Is there credibility? Yes, there is some. How much? How much sand can we put in that bucket? I like it. I instinctively like it. My bullshit meter is not going off at all. I wish what I would give for a tape recording of what he told his family, or a video of it. Polygraph him, waterboard him. I'm sorry, I like this one. I feel good about it. I feel strong about it. I'm going to give it 5 grains of sand. That's a huge, huge amount. 5 grains of sand into that 8-gallon bucket. Okay, 5 grains of sand. Okay, there you go. And that bucket's just getting fuller and fuller. Okay, something, France, February 1937. Time is 2000 or 8 o'clock, 2000, you might say. 8 o'clock at night. We got a real problem upstairs. On a road near this village, a Mr. Billen, probably mispronounced that too, and a female friend saw hovering in a field very close from the ground a luminous, multicolored, almost square-shaped object. Usually things are round or roundish or cylindrical, or some aspect of them is round or round. Very, very few things are square, but some are. Not too many. They could see 2 figures about 1 meter in height walking back and forth very rapidly in front of the object. So wait a minute, it's not on the ground, in a field very close from the ground. So this thing is hovering at 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, 10 feet maybe, I don't know. And these little 1-foot-tall creepazoids are walking back and forth very rapidly in front of the object. I locked the door when we went out. Bob, you got the key? You got the key, you stupid ass. You got it because I gave it to you. The witnesses watched the scene from about 100 meters away. The figures appeared to be wearing brown-green colored uniforms. The witnesses were in a state of shock after the incident. Okay, no notes. Credibility or not, I can't say there's no credibility. I'll tell you something about France. Some countries have really stupid shit reports. Philippines had probably the most horrible reports I've ever seen. I have theories about that. France has some of the best reports in the world, and I think in my database it has more reports than any other country on Earth. maybe more than the United States. I'm not sure. Yeah, I could easily do a string search and account, but I'm not going to. It has to do a little bit with the intelligence of the people and the degree of shyness that people have, the degree of religious indoctrination the people have, and depends on the religion also. I mean, the Catholics for forever were down on aliens and flying saucers. No, they don't exist. Those are demons. That's a devil. Don't think about it because the devil will come and eat your brains. That was the Catholic stance on that. And now the Catholic Church is finally, just in the last few years, they come out and say, well, they probably exist. Yeah, we're pretty sure they exist. And they're just God's creatures. Don't worry about them. The probing will be over in a minute. Maybe you might like it. We all like it. All of our people like it. You might like it too. Okay, so that's the Catholic stance on aliens now. In France, the people have, maybe always, but for a long, long time, have been encouraged to make reports of things they saw. The French are, they're independent and they're outspoken, and when they see shit, they say shit. I like that about the French. I do. They got guts. They got balls. Yeah. I mean, they're rude as F, but I like them because of that. I could be a Frenchie. I could be like a frog. I could have been. In a last life, something like that. So there's a lot of really good reports out of France, and we just have thousands of them. Credibility or not. Scanning. Yeah, 3 grains. Yeah, three. Is that too much? I mean, this is a momentous decision. State of shock after the incident. Yeah, 3 grains. Okay, there you go. Okay. Here's something. France. Not going to try it. I'm not going to embarrass myself and piss off the French because they're pissed off enough already. November 1938, Times Night. Really short. 1 paragraph. In a local vineyard, several witnesses... God, they all live in vineyards, don't they? They just do, don't they? They were all born in a frickin' vineyard. God. In a local vineyard, several witnesses reported seeing large greenish spheres of light on the ground and moving within the lights. Mysterious humanoid silhouettes. Apparently no traces were found, no notes. Large green, large, how big is large? 10 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet? Moving within the lights. I don't know. Credibility, half a grain. Because, they could have been out there in the vineyard, God knows what they drank. Half a grain. Okay. That's the best I can do. Take it or leave it. Menton, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this. Menton. France. Why do I try? Oh, God, no. April 1st, 1954, time is 2:40 in the morning. April 1st. God. The witness heard a loud clanking sound, then looking outside his home, he saw a 5-meter domed disc land. How the hell are you going to give any credibility to this thing? If there's video from 100 different people, you can't give credibility to it. It's April freaking 1st. Wait. Do they do April 1st in France? Maybe that's unknown to them. Maybe that's only a U.S. thing. I don't know. April 1st. I don't know. If it's only a U.S. thing, then the Frenchies wouldn't be making an April Fool's joke, would they? So therefore, they're perfectly credible. The witness heard a loud clanking sound, then looking outside his home, saw a 5-meter domed disc land. 2 human-looking occupants wearing gray combination suits. Now, I'm not 100% sure what a combination suit is. I have heard that 100,000 times. Sounds like some kind of stupid British term, combination. What, is that like an overall, a coverall? What does that mean? A combination suit? What in the hell? You go to the store and you tell them you want a combination suit. They're just going to look at you and call for security. 2 human-looking occupants wearing gray combination suits exited the craft. The whole time the witness was paralyzed. Oh, wow. The whole time the witness was paralyzed by a beam of light coming from the UFO. So they got somebody watching their 6, and he's got his ray gun, and he's sitting looking out. He opened the porthole. He's looking out. He just says, "Bzzz, got you. And when we go, I'll let go of the trigger. You can walk around again if you're able, But this is a pretty common thing anyway, that some kind of thing stays inside the ship, looks for threats, and when it sees a threat or a dog or a rabbit, it just nukes it. Sometimes it knocks it down, knocks it out. Sometimes it just freezes it, just freeze, until everybody's done and gone. Credibility. Can't say there's none. God, these are fruitful reports. These are good reports. These are good. I'm going to end up doing, we've been doing 1 or 2 or 3 per country for a while, but I've got so many from France, I'm going to have to do like 20, 30, 50 episodes just on France. And that's okay, because the French are not generally woo-woo whack jobs like they are in the Philippines, where all they see is dragons, Okay, credibility. Human wearing gray suits. Yeah, I go 3 grains of sand. 3 grains. Okay. So now our bucket as of right now is 90.45% full. You think about that. This 8-gallon bucket. Go look at the picture on alienanalprobe.com, or if you're embarrassed to type that in, type in theyclaim.com. It's there also. It's a big old bucket. Okay. Think of how many of these cases we had to assign some sand to get to 90.45%. So it's a lot. Okay. I don't have a number, but it's a lot. Okay. Frenchy. Where's the French? I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm not going to go there. France, August 1954, Times Morning. Mr. Carrier. I bet it's Carrier. Oh, Mrs. I'm sorry, Mrs. Whatever. Carrie. Call her Carrie. Carry, something like that. On holiday in the area, was returning to the house one early morning when she was out drunk all night. That's what happened. Yeah, we go line by line and we look for the bullshit. We dissect it. It's for your protection. Mrs. Carrie Smith, on holiday in the area, was returning to the house drunk as hell one early morning when she saw an object resembling a big black balloon landing on a nearby field. Just says morning. It doesn't say how light it is or anything. From the object, a very small man with a dreadful black face emerges. Danny DeVito, that little son of a bitch. Well, he's not all that black. He could have been. I'm not going there. A similar figure remains in the object. What can she see through the doorway, through some windows, or it's transparent, or how does she know what's remaining inside? The little man remains on the ground only for a few moments and then reboards the object, which then rises silently, leaving behind a very white wake. What did we talk about early on in this episode about this phenomenon where they land and they get out and they do the Chevy Chase thing at Grand Canyon? And they go back in and they fly away. I got back to Zeta Reticuli. I don't know, but they don't stay there. I mean, if they're looking for some particular thing, they got windows, they got cameras and shit they can fly over, and they can look down and say, no, what we want isn't there. Keep going, Bob. They don't have to land and come out to look around and see, no, this ain't the beach, sorry. I just don't understand why they're doing this. Could it possibly be? I mean, you try to assign human understanding to some of the stupid, crazy shit that they do. Could it possibly be that they just want to tell their friends and family that they walked around on Earth? That's a big deal. They get back and say to Reticuli, and then you're the man for a week, or the her, or the it, or the they, or the them, or the whatever they. I mean, we don't know. We only have two sexes, but no, that's not true. I've argued that point before. But spiritually, we have more than two sexes. Period. Fact. Physically, you got that pesky chromosome. Okay, whatever. But aliens, who knows? Maybe they got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't know. Maybe it takes 3 of them to mate. We don't know. Anyway, so could it be that they just want to say they got dirt, they got Earth dirt on their shoes? And then they take them back and they sell them on Zeta Reticuli eBay? Why? Why do they keep doing this? They don't pick anything up. I mean, sometimes they do, but very often they don't pick anything up. They don't shoot anybody. They don't do anything. They don't take a picture. Maybe they do. Maybe they're taking pictures. Somebody inside is taking a picture of them. Yeah, that's Bob. He's on Earth. Look at that. I don't know. Okay. Here, the little man remains on the ground only for a few moments, then reboards the object, which then rises silently, leaving behind a very white wake. Been reported way many times. The witness notices 2 cows on the ground wiggling in apparent pain. The farmer and his wife, who come upon the scene, are paralyzed and unable to move. So this woman, this broad, comes home drunk. She's stumbling around trying to get up to the door, and she sees this thing land, and she sees a little turkey guy come out, and he dreadful black face, and he walks around, and then he just goes back in. Nobody appears to shoot anything or anybody, and then it flies away. Done deal, it's gone. But then the drunken woman notices 2 cows on the ground wiggling in pain. So what in God's name? And then a farmer and his wife, who come upon the scene, are paralyzed and unable to move. Where's the farmer come from? They're out drunk also? On holiday? It's early in the morning. Well, they might be working, something fruitful like that instead of boozing it up. Okay, so I mean, to our simplistic brains, we're thinking, okay, somehow the little alien bastards, they invoked some kind of paralyzing field for that immediate area, and it paralyzed the cows and made them hurt, and it paralyzed the man and his wife. Didn't say if they're in pain or not. And then what happened? Everybody just came out of it after a while? Or what? Apparently, we have to surmise that. Okay, credibility or not? God dang it, once again, I cannot say there is no credibility. Come on. So many times we'll go through a whole session of these where we'll go 8 or 10 in a row where there's nothing, delete. And then, thank you to the Frenchy frogs, we get a whole episode of good reports. I mean, nothing is great, but they're good. Okay, so credibility or not? Yes. How much? I'd love to waterboard the farmer and his wife, and then we'd get down to some shit, wouldn't we? 5 grains. Okay, is that all we got? We got more? Let's see. No, yeah, we got one more. Oh yeah, that's a meaty one. Okay, something, comma, something, France. August 1954, time is evening. They don't know the time for any of these, do they? France didn't have clocks. They only had sundials, so when it's dark or cloudy, they don't know what frickin' time it is. A bright orange light on a nearby field attracted several children hiding behind a ledge in order to surprise some other children. Looking at the field, they saw an orange metallic disc-shaped object. Apparently on the ground, it had a dome on top and revolving orange lights on its center. I guess on the bottom. The color of the object resembled brushed aluminum. Okay, the lights and the color, all this is just, reported stupid number of times. A being is seen standing upright within the dome, and another is seen leaving the object. How? Did he open a hatch? Did he drop out the bottom like a nasty little turd? How did he get out? Two others are on the ground. Oh God, so they got four, right? Two others are on the ground. Oh, this is where the rubber meets the road now, people. Two others are on the ground, one holding a bag. Here, they're going to catch something. Holding a bag, and the other a hoe-like instrument. Yeah, they're digging shit up. All the humanoids wore dark brown and black combination suits. Soon, the beings on the ground placed... Oh, I remember this one after 30 freaking years. I didn't remember it up until now, but there's a very odd part of this coming up. Very odd, very odd. It has sort of haunted me for decades because I can make no sense of it whatsoever. Last paragraph is just haunting. Okay, all the humanoids wore dark brown and black combination suits. Now, envision this. They're walking around. I guess they got a hoe and they got a bag and they're digging some shit up. They're probably getting some dirt and some rocks and some leaves and some bugs and shit like that. That's what aliens are supposed to be doing, for God's sake. Soon, here we go. Here's the good part. Soon, the beings on the ground placed their arms stiffly on the sides of their bodies and rose vertically. Then followed a curving trajectory into the object. Okay, that's pretty weird and creepy right there, but it gets worse. Comma, head first. Now, anybody can visualize that, but you're thinking, why? Why would that make sense at all? And I'm going to read it again because it doesn't make sense after all these years. It still doesn't make any sense to me. I try to envision every single scenario by which that would make sense, and I come up with nothing. Soon the beings on the ground placed their arms stiffly on the sides of their bodies and rose vertically like little rockets. Then followed a curving trajectory into the object, head first. The orange light on the object dimmed, and then the crafts? How many we got? I thought there was only one. Looking at the field. In the beginning, they say only one disc-shaped thing. Okay, now they say plural. But these are not well written. The orange light on the object dimmed, and then the crafts, whatever, shoots up at incredible speed, disappearing in seconds. Okay, so it's a pretty, run-of-the-mill alien encounter report thing. The only fly in the ointment is this. Okay, the whole rising up thing. That sounds like some kind of a tractor beam thing, Okay, guys, you got enough bugs. Come on, it's time to go. And maybe a little hatch on top of the thing pops open, and then they, somebody's got a little joystick thing, and they say, okay, here you go. Now, okay, and then they go up and they do a curved trajectory like a rocket that goes up, and then it goes level, and then it points down, and then it hits the ground. Only these things went into the object. Now, okay, so what happens? They get inside the object, and then what happens? There's somehow the tractor beam thing turns them right side up. Why not turn them right side up before they go down through the hatch? Do they really? They don't care if they're right side up or they're upside down? I don't get it. It turns my little brain into a knot. Now, here's the really bad part about this case. There's a small handful of cases where this also has happened in other ways in other places. Exact same thing. They go up, they arc over, they go down head first into the flying saucer, it takes off. Try to wrap your brain around that. Try to come up with some kind of logical reason as to why they would do things like that, because I can't. My brain is admittedly 6 sizes too small, but really, people, what in the hell? Okay, credibility or not? Yeah, because it sounds like a good solid report, and it's been corroborated by other witnesses in other parts of the world seeing the same or very similar thing. Credibility, yes. I give it, as bizarre as it is, I give it 10 grains. 10 grains of sand, I do. Because it just, something about it, it's so damn creepy and weird and disturbing. It just gives extra credibility, okay. Okay, we got one more here. It's like a half a paragraph. Something, France, August 1st, 1954, time 2100, 9 o'clock at night. A saucer-shaped object is seen landing on a field. Oh, what a surprise. 2 men wearing helmets with antennas emerge from the craft. The observer feels dazed during the incident. No other information. Okay. This is 1954. Now, this one disturbs me a little bit. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. Antenna, they got antenna on their helmets. How many things that we have and use today have antennas? Virtually nothing. So why do these insanely advanced beings, why are they still using antennas? Unless they have some purpose that's just far beyond anything I can imagine. It has nothing to do with communication or radio waves or anything like that. Energy fields, maybe they are used to somehow administrate some kind of energy fields that has to be done with an antennae, because sure as hell they don't need them for communication. We don't. Okay, credibility or not? Oh, God. The antenna thing bothers me. I'm going to give it the dust off the ass of 1 grain of sand. Best I can do for their internet. Okay, that's it. Okay, there's Quebec. No, they're Frenchies, but I'm not going there. Okay, we'll be done with France tonight, but I'm going to have a series of French ones because there's just too many from France. And they have kept good records for decades and decades. Some of the best encounter reports in the world come out of France. I don't know why in God's name the aliens would want to go there. I mean, I don't. Well, maybe think about this. Maybe the Frenchies are not rude to the aliens. I mean, they're rude to us, but then nobody likes us, and I don't blame them. Maybe the aliens go there because they're nice to the aliens. How would we know? We wouldn't know. Okay. God. Thank you very much, and good evening, and good camera. Good night.